Welcome to my greenhouse. Let's do a little bit of dreaming today. Okay, so I can share what I'm gonna dream about this year and you can just go along with me. You can follow me along as I share the dreams that I have and the things that I want to accomplish, the projects that I want to get done this year, just some of them. I'm sure I've missed some that I'm probably going to think of later, like actually a milk stanchion. That's one thing that I need done ASAP as soon as I get the plans and what I want and give to my husband. But I'm going to dream a little bit today. You can follow me around and see what my plans are for 2021 and see how much I get done. So hopefully as we go along this year, I can share with you how much I get done, how we do it, and what it costs, and if it was hard or not, or what worked and what didn't. So I would love to know if you're dreaming alongside me, if you have big plans for this year, and if you do, share them below, because we all need to work together and share things and what things are working and what things maybe aren't. Maybe you've tried something and it was a disaster, and maybe you need to share that because somebody else is thinking about it and maybe you have tips for them. So I'm going to share throughout this year the projects that we're doing and how we're doing them and all that good stuff, and we'll see how it goes. So hopefully a lot of my projects and dreams come true this year. So I decided to come out here and dream a little bit, so you can come dream with me. I came out earlier to feed Annabelle. It is so beautiful outside, except for the yard. It doesn't seem to matter where I step. You definitely have to wear boots because it is a muddy mess. Or maybe should I say squishy, swampy mess. I don't know. I don't know if there's any part of the yard that's not a little bit squishy. We had 8 to 10 inches of snow that just melted. Some of it's still not melted on the side of the barn that the sun doesn't get to very much. So it's just really messy. It's going to be interesting when all this dries up. But I wanted to bring you out here so you can dream with me a little bit. So if you've been watching my videos, you know that I have Annabelle the dairy cow. We also have 2 goats out here with her. And we also have a livestock guardian dog that we've had for years. So I'm on this side of the barn, and we used to have this pasture here all fenced in. It's fenced in still on 3 sides, thank goodness, because the front we cleaned out when our daughter got married in 2019. We had the wedding in the barn, so we had a lot of cleaning that year. We did a lot of cleaning up, a lot of cutting down trees, and just we worked our butts off that year, let's just say that. Everything looks better. I mean, our property looks really nice. We've cleaned up junk and, you know, all that kind of stuff that year. The barn was cleaned up. It looks like brand new on the inside. It was crazy. Now, so we took this front fence down because it was kind of breaking down. The goats had been on it. It was the first fence we bought, and it wasn't the best kind. So we took it all down, and so I'm thinking I'm going to close this in again. We do have a gate right here that I can actually get into. So we have this gate that we can fix and we can use it again. And so what I'm thinking is I would like to have at least 2 pastures, possibly 3, if I can break up this back pasture over here. But to put a gate in right here so that I can block this off to where they can only come in here and they can't get in the back pasture. Leave the water up here so that they always have access to it, but that way I can, if I need to put hay in here, I can put hay in here. It won't be a really big area. The hay is not in here right now. It's actually over here, but to put it in here, they can stay in here if I need them to stay in here. So I'm just not real sure yet. This is not a huge area. I've actually stepped it and gonna kind of measure it, but I have to tell you, gosh, that sun feels wonderful on my back. It's just like a spring day. It just feels like it's springtime already. And last week it was like 8 degrees. And one morning I know I come out to milk and it showed 1. And I know it was below 0 that morning. So it's rather nice today. But this pasture all over here is probably, I'm gonna say, double what this one is. So I think I could probably separate that one somehow and put like a lane in to where I could block it off. I'm not real sure. I don't want to put up permanent fencing because that's always a pain. We've done that a million times with the goats. We did have a bunch of cattle panels that we actually sold. Probably should have kept more of those if I would have known, you know. I would have known I was going to get a dairy cow. Never would have thought that. So I thought about separating this too, and then I would have 3 that I could rotate and make sure that the grass doesn't get really, really short. I'm not worried about the goats and the dairy cow because the goats will eat a little bit different stuff than Annabelle will. Annabelle will like the grass and everything. The goats love the weeds. They love all that kind of stuff. So I'm not real worried about that. Let's get a close up. This is Frodo, one of the very first goats we had. He's a wether. He is an Alpine La Mancha mix. You can see he doesn't have very big ears, but he has those horns. And then there's Annabelle peeking around the bale a little bit. And there's another goat over there somewhere. But the plan is to get some meat birds, and this is another dream. We did meat birds last year. We did 10 just to kind of try it out and see how that worked, and it worked really good. We really liked the meat. I gotta get out of the sun. So the plan is to break this up into possibly 2 paddocks, and then the goal is to do some more meat birds and to make some mobile coops that are bigger than the one I had last year. It was very small, very heavy for me to move. I didn't put wheels on it. I didn't put a pull rope or anything, so it was kind of heavy. So I'd like one that I can walk into. We've had a chicken coop before that was like a hoop house, and that I think is the plan, is to do more of a hoop house concept on wheels, basically. There won't be any need for nesting boxes if they are meat birds because they won't need that. They'll just need food and water. So what my plan was is to put it in one of the paddocks that, like this one that the cow has already been in, and they can kind of clean up the manure, spread it around, so I can move them over it in sections, and they will break that up and eat the, you know, the parasites and whatever else is in there. The other plan too, I think, I would almost like to do another hoop house and put the layers in it for like spring, summer, fall before winter, and that way they are out and I can kind of keep them contained and out of my garden, but that they'll still get bugs and they'll still get to kind of get out in the grass. But I'm not sure where I want to do those because we would have to be gathering eggs, so I think I'm going to put them somewhere else. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do all this. I'm going to have some like chores for the kids to do. And I'm telling you, everywhere I walk is like squishy. You can probably hear it. It's like swampland right now. So we come over here. This used to be fenced in. They're all like coming over here thinking I'm going to feed them or something. I'm not sure what they're doing. But this used to be a horse pasture. We had a horse or 2 over here of our daughter's, and when she moved out, when she got married, she moved the horse. We took the fence down because it was really bad. They were really tearing that down. Right now it has a 4-wheeler track on it, but I'm thinking I could probably move a coop out here on certain parts of it and just move the layers around. I'm not real sure if I want them this far from the house though, because in here there would be the livestock guardian dog, so she would protect those. So I don't know about where I'm going to put the layers, but I think I just want to put them in like their summer home, spring, summer, fall home, and just have the permanent coop up by the garden maybe be for winter. I'm not real sure yet, or I'm just gonna have to figure out how to keep them in there, get new bird netting that I have and put it up. Maybe that's what I'll have to end up doing. She doesn't move real fast, but what's up, Miss Annabelle? Got some scratches? Huh? Probably enjoying that sun. It's all warm. All right, let's go show you another dream. Let me get over here in the shade. That is so weird to say right now. Come over here in the shade. Okay, so this is a project from last year. I know it looks kind of bad. This is actually going to be a tree guild. The plan, some of my cardboard blew off and I've got to go get it out of the yard in the woods. But the plan is, this is my fruit guild, my tree guild, I guess we want to call it. I've got strawberries and blackberries, blueberries, and a few fruit trees. Some have been demolished by goats and they're really small. The cardboard keeps the weeds and the grass down. I've just really been tired of mowing it. And I saw this concept of putting other things in the tree guild. So you could put some herbs, you can put flowers, it attracts pollinators, you can put things that discourage disease, discourage insects. So there's lots of possibilities out here. I can put like my strawberries in there and they can kind of just have at it in a certain area because the ones I have are going crazy. And so that's the plan with the tree guild. I'm thinking as I'm talking, I have a lot of plans for this year. And so I'm gonna have to probably plan it like I did when we did the wedding. I'm gonna have to look ahead and I'm gonna have to plan and see what I want to do all this, because otherwise I'm not sure how I'm gonna get it all done. I have a couple more things that I want to do. And so where this horse trailer is and down all the way back about 75 feet, I have stuff already for a caterpillar tunnel. So what a caterpillar tunnel is, you can walk in it and it's kind of like a huge row cover that you can walk under, and it is just covered with plastic. You can raise up the sides and you can lower them, but it's very economical. I actually have all the stuff for that already. So we just have to wait. We didn't get it in before it got really cold and the snow. And now we can't put it in right now because the ground is so wet. So I'm just waiting for the ground to kind of firm up a little bit and then I can get that up, because I really need to get that up because I have starts that are getting fairly good size, like my kohlrabi and stuff. And so I really need to probably get those out as soon as I can, but they still need some protection. So then the other thing is, this is an old garden that we have. This we used to plant corn and watermelon, which we'll probably do a little bit of this year. But we were going to do a wallapini back over behind the garden. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. But I think we're going to move it. I think we're going to put a greenhouse, an in-ground greenhouse over here. Now that's possibly not going to happen this year because that's going to take a little bit of planning. It's going to take a rental of an excavator and a little bit more planning on our part for just, I don't know, geothermal and maybe that kind of stuff. So we're going to wait and see on that for sure. I'm not real sure about the whole geothermal thing, so we've got to do some research on that. But let me show you the wallapini right now. It needs some help. One of the reasons why I will agree to a new one is because I think I can get a bigger one if I put it out there. This one is about 25 feet and I would love to have one that's longer than that. But as you can see, this is just basically a huge hole with water. So it definitely holds water. So we definitely know that we could probably build a pond because we have a lot of clay dirt. That's what most of this is. Now I did have my son scrape off the topsoil and put a pile. So we do have that. But this has been filled up with water since last fall after we dug it. Not too long after we dug it, it filled up with water. So it was ice. And it's about 6 feet deep, I think, the water is right now. And this is actually too deep. I think we're gonna go like 4 foot deep in the ground for the when we do the in-ground greenhouse, because I think that's about what it is. So the plan is we may fill this back in when we dig the other one. We're just not 100% sure yet. So this is the mobile that I used, the mobile chicken coop that I used for the meat birds. Now this does have nesting boxes in it, so I could actually use this for egg layers if I needed to. It is really heavy though. I need to measure. It will be too big for my actual raised beds. So I didn't really think about that. I probably should have. That would have been great. If it was a couple of feet shorter, then I could have just set it over the top of my raised beds, put a couple of chickens in there and let them till up the dirt for me. You know, I don't know. I guess I could maybe somehow shorten it. I don't know. We'll see. But that just may be a lot of work, unnecessary work. This is the current chicken coop that we built actually the year of the wedding to get the chickens out of the barn because they thought that was their coop. So we put this here. We had these hog panels and we I bought bird netting, and it was mainly just to keep them in here because we didn't want them getting out, pooping on everything for the wedding and whatever. So this bird netting is a couple of years old. It's got holes in it, and it probably needs to be replaced, but I would like it a little bit taller. And so that is a thought, is to do some deep bedding in here and just leave the chickens in here and just not let them out in the summer. But I also don't want to have to feed them a bunch of feed. I would rather them be out eating bugs and everything. So I'm not real sure yet. They could be in my garden because I do have PVC hoops that I made with netting, and you might be able to see those over there. I do have one on top of my asparagus bed because I did not want them in there. Pretty sure there's something in the water. That's kind of freaky. I'm gonna guess maybe a frog or something. I'm not sure. Or a turtle, but something is in the water. I do have like hoop nets that I put over the top of my raised bed, so the chickens can't get in there. I mean, so they could eat the bugs everywhere else, but my plan is to plant. You can see the big black tarp. That was the pool tarp from last year, and it has a hole in it. So the plan was to put that down, discourage weed growth, and then plant in the ground out here. Use my raised beds. My greenhouse is right there. The chicken coop is right here. I can throw stuff over here to them as I weed. I don't know how that's gonna work, so we'll wait and see on that. But I have lots of plans, lots of dreams for 2021. I have gotten a good start so far. I did get seeds started, so that's a good thing. I have 200 seeds started in the house. So I have 50 pepper plants and 50 tomatoes seeded. They're all coming up. I have kohlrabi and cabbage, and I have, what else do I have? I have some flowers that are seeded. Just lots of things. I have some eggplant, just a few new things that I want to try, and I'm just really excited, like especially with this weather. It's like 64 degrees outside, and it makes me just want to bring everything out. I just want to take my shoes off and get in the dirt. I'm usually a barefoot gardener. Last year was a little bit different because I did have the chickens in the garden, so I did wear my boots or shoes because I didn't want to step in chicken poo. So that is my dream. Those are my dreams. I got to finish, I've got like fencing to finish for my garden. I want to do a tea garden this year. So I'm curious, do you have dreams? Do you dream with me? Do you dream about what you're going to do this year? A lot of people are growing their own food now, or getting animals, or just thinking about where their food comes from more. You don't even have to have a large space. You can use containers. You can use just a back patio garden. The possibilities are almost endless of what you can actually do to grow food. So I'm just curious, what are your plans for 2021? Are you, planting a big garden? Do you have stuff that you want to plant this year that you've never tried before? Maybe you're a new gardener, or you have new animals like me. Like I have a dairy cow we've had dairy goats before, but not a dairy cow. So, are you stepping into some new things that you've never stepped into before? I would love to know, and I would love for you to share. And I'm just excited actually to share with you as this year goes how these dreams are going to come about. If any of them are going to come true this year, or some of them are going to have to wait. So I guess we'll just have to see how 2021 goes.